With the New Year's rolling around and the holidays approaching us, I wanted to talk about my favorite games of all time. You know, to get yourself feeling warm and fuzzy inside via nostalgia. I've always wanted to do a video like this, but I never really thought about making it. It was until the Bloodborne video where I actually kind of got a knack for making self-led videos and not gameplay stuff. So I decided why not take a crack at it now. I feel like most everybody could narrow down a list of 10 games that define them as a person. A game you may have played as a child that stuck with you, or just a game that you sunk countless hours into. These are my top 10 favorite games of all time in no particular order.
Goku, raise your children!
Yeah, Dad, I miss you. Yeah, Dad, let's do something together.
Kakarot, I'm gay, let's fuck!
Yes, Vegeta.
Final!
I remember when the original Isaac came out close to my birthday in middle school, 6th grade to be exact, and the sequel coming out 3 years later in 2014. I remember spending countless summer nights playing it with friends and listening to Tyler, the creator, and having such a blast. I was so obsessed with the game at the time that I remember printing out Binding of Isaac art to put in my binders. Yes, I know I was a very autistic child. This game really defines the roguelike genre for me. Despite enjoying Risk of Rain and Dead Estate, I find myself constantly coming back to this game. The one reason why I like it so much is the synergy between items. Now, other games have this, but I think Isaac really does it well. You get the most quirky and frankly like strange synergies with items that you didn't think would work, and they do. And it seems like Edmund McMillan really thought of mostly everything when it comes to item combinations and whether they would work well or not. And that's what I really enjoy about Isaac.
You fuck tank.
What? No.
You fuck.
No.
I have definitely played many a boomer shooter in my heyday as a wee lad when I definitely shouldn't have. Duke Nukem, Doom, Quake, and my favorite, Serious Sam: The First Encounter. My dad, of all people, was the one to introduce me to this bright and colorful game when I was around 5 or 6, which was one of the big reasons why I got really invested in like Egypt and Egyptian lore at a young age. It's basically all I would play as a kid on the family computer. I played it so goddamn much that the fucking disc stopped working. What differentiated Serious Sam from other boomer shooters was the very addicting gameplay formula that Crow Team called dancing with the weapons. This basically means that there's a right weapon to use against specific enemies, which makes combat flow easily and is crucial to do so when playing on harder difficulties. I talked about Serious Sam in an older video in depth, but my older videos were not as good as they are now, so I don't recommend it. Also, the soundtrack is genuinely so fucking good.
You can stop now.
light it. Don't blow it out. Happy birthday, Judah.
While I do love the horror game genre, there's not many games that I would say are anywhere near my top favorites of all time. Sure, I like Silent Hill 2, Resident Evil 4, and Fear, but there is one horror game that I've never been able to get out of my head, and that's Condemned.
Are you now, Mr. Krabs? Are you feeling now, Mr. Krabs? Are you feeling now, Mr. Krabs?
This game manages to keep you on your toes throughout the entire duration of the game. One level even has enemies that are disguised as mannequins in this abandoned clothing store, and I remember when I first played that level, and that scared the absolute shit out of me. I have a fear of mannequins, and seeing, like, the mannequins, and then just, like, one moment they're doing nothing, and then the other moment they're moving, and you're like, what the fuck? This game has some of the most satisfying first-person melee combat in video games, let alone in any horror game I've played. Add in the police detective work in between fighting and exploring, and you have yourself an immersive first-person horror game. And apart from Dead Space, Condemned is really the only horror game I've played that I've genuinely gotten terrified. I genuinely do recommend a playthrough of this game. While the graphics may look a little bit dated, and there is a weird bug with the game where if you have any Logitech items, the game will play at an unplayable frame rate. So with that in mind, I still recommend the game highly. So go ahead and pick it up on Steam if you don't have it already, or watch someone play it. While I did play Minecraft first and enjoyed it, as soon as I started playing Terraria, I knew it was the game for me. It replicates a retro feeling to the game to a T, that and being more boss-oriented rather than Minecraft's more exploration-oriented game. There's always something to do in Terraria, whether it be collecting every NPC in your world, fighting the numerous bosses the game has to offer, or trying out the many mods the community has created. I will always replay Terraria at any given chance with friends. It's basically a tradition to replay this game with my friend Dylan, which we currently are playing through Terraria again.
Don't fight it, just let it happen. Like what? Matter of fact, what the fuck is... Don't let what happen?
I was recently put onto the Yakuza games by a good friend of mine and heard countless praises about Yakuza 0, and it turns out everyone was right. The game is amazing. The fighting is smooth and fun, and I honestly looked for every battle that I could take because it was just so fun fighting enemies. The story is very suspenseful and it keeps you hooked, and the side stories are great distractions to an already well-packed game. The story was one of my favorite things about the game, actually. Apart from the music, I forgot I was even playing a game at some points from how drawn into the story I was.
I would never cry to a Frank Ocean song, let's be honest. I am a man.
どうした?しっかり狙えよ。まだ死んでねえぞ。撃てねえよ。撃てるわけねえよ。やっぱり俺はおめえと一緒じゃなきゃダメだ。国道として。俺なんか今まで生きてこられたのもおめえがそばにいたからだ。
My first playthrough was over 100 hours and I didn't even do half the things the game had to offer. I recommend the Yakuza series to anyone who enjoys fighting games like this and enjoys wacky and outlandish characters and stories. Back in 2016, a little game known as Doom 2016 came out, and this was one of those games I was waiting for when it was coming out. I couldn't wait any longer than necessary. I needed this game. I was genuinely surprised at how good Doom 2016 was. I wasn't sure what to expect being a reboot of Doom, a game that I already loved a lot, but this fresh take to the Doom franchise, what with the chainsaw rework and the overall changes to the game that made for an addicting gameplay loop. This game truly excels at making you feel like Doomslayer as you hack and blast your way through hordes of demons. And the music. This game simply makes watching gameplay fun, in my opinion. Always gets me hyped up hearing the music with the gameplay. I ended up also getting a Doom tattoo based on the Slayer logo from this series. The game really gets good when you get to the hell levels. I was finding myself getting sucked back in, much like the first time I was playing the game while getting footage for the game. I truly recommend Doom 2016, especially because of how cheap it is on sale nowadays. It's practically $4. You would be dumb not to buy it.
You'll water his garden with champagne before you let the Germans drink it.
Yeah.
You said it.
If there was ever a game that was meant for me, I think it would be Borderlands 2. Back when I first played this game on the Xbox 360, I dropped nearly 2,000 hours into the game with a buddy of mine. Chances are, if you know me, you know I love this game. I love the skills of this game, and there's so many fun and interesting skill mechanics to take advantage of in the game. And the grind for the loot to get legendaries might be tedious for other people, but I actually quite enjoy grinding out loot like this. Besides, who wouldn't be fun grinding out interesting and pure dumb funds to use like these? Borderlands 2 has its fair share of glitches and exploits, and that honestly adds a lot to the game. Like the various out-of-bounds glitches, swapping gun stats to other weapons, and cheesing the hell out of raid bosses. And I genuinely love how Borderlands characters and Dragon Ball characters share the same voice actors. Who knew Cell was actually the antagonist of Borderlands 2? I sure didn't.
Don't you feel jolly? Don't you feel merry? Don't you feel a little festive?
Consider my power in a hollow grave.
I live again.
I tried to find 3 more games that weren't going to be another boomer shooter, but Blood is just so good. Caleb might be one of the best old school first-person shooter protagonists of all time, and while that might sound a little far-fetched with Doom Guy or even Duke Nukem, the lines that he spouts constantly just make up for it, and Stephen Wayne really does a great job at bringing Caleb to life.
Ophelia.
Oh! Show yourself. Show yourself.
Over the lips, through the gums, look out to me, here I come. I want Jojo, I want Jojo, Jojo, Jojo. Here's Johnny. You're going to need a bigger boat. I get no kick from champagne. Mere alcohol doesn't thrill me at all. But I get a kick out of you.
The atmosphere is ripped straight from a horror film from the 80s. What with all of the references to the 80s horror movies at the time, and just the lines that are said by Caleb. And the game has one of the best shotguns in any FPS out there. Just take a look. And I do think the game has some pretty good cutscenes. While I don't agree with Caleb being a bald-headed Lego man, the cutscenes do leave me unnerved at times because of the dated graphics. But they're rather charming to me, and the levels. Holy shit, dude. The train level is genuinely a cool set piece with the crashing of the train at the end of the level and going straight to the carnival. It's a genius level transition, plus having actual working carnival games is a lot like the environmental stuff that was added to Duke Nukem 3D and Shadow Warrior. Blood is a hard game to recommend to other people due to the sheer learning curve the game has at sometimes. The dynamite being one of the things you basically have to get good at to take down hit scanners from across the room before they melt you. I think anyone would come to enjoy the game. I actually refunded the game like twice before I actually started enjoying the game more, and now it's one of my favorites, obviously.
I know, we should all just let bygones be bygones, but that ain't the way it's gonna be. I was programmed to kill your ass.
With how many videos I've covered over this game, it should be no surprise that Lethal Company is showing up on this list. Lethal Company is a group horror game that came out a few years ago, and while I do make the game out to be more funny than it is scary, the game can quite be spooky sometimes. Like when you get separated from your group, the conversations and laughing from your buddies fades out as the silence fills your ears. Now even the shadows around you are seeming to jump at you.
Oh, dumper! 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 Run! Oh, fuck, he's pissed. He is pissed. He is not happy. He is not happy. Oh, he is not...
Lethal Company does a great job at doing group horror well. And while I did enjoy Phasmophobia a lot when it came out, I think Lethal has an easier time keeping things fresh and having a fun gameplay loop. I do recommend Lethal Company for anyone who wants to play a good horror game single or multiplayer. You can't go wrong with Lethal Company. If you watched my videos or anyone else's videos about Lethal Company and it seems like something that's up your alley, it definitely is. And being at $10, it's practically a steal.
You take a picture with your ass out and your back bent in with your pussy barely peeking through from a low angle with your face in it, winking with your tongue out and your feet in it, and your arches exposed and your toes clenched and your torso at 3/4 rotation with your side boob, and your nipples just out of sight with a choker on, and your panties around your waist with the middle.
My number one game of all time is Bloodborne. I have talked about Bloodborne way too much before. I made a separate video about it. I've talked about it to all my friends whenever I play through it again. I talk about it in great detail with anyone if they decide to listen to me. There's so much Bloodborne does right. The weapons, the story, the boss themes, the environment, it's all done extremely well. And it continues to be charming and fun even after beating the game as many times as I have. The bosses and music in the game leave me fearful and energized for the fight to come. And this fresh take on the Soul series is genuinely what we need more of from FromSoft.
Oh, doubt me not, sweet compere. What is friendship? Not a chance encounter. That was uncharitably done, dear friend.
If Bloodborne interests you, and you haven't watched my Bloodborne video already, give it a watch. I think it might be up your alley. My last video, I talked about the Bloodborne being played on PC via the emulator, and it's actually in a playable state now, shortly after I even uploaded that video, so that's pretty cool that you can now play it on PC. I myself haven't been able to get it to work, but hopefully it becomes easier and easier as the time goes on, and more people are going to be able to play it. Those were my top 10 favorite games. Now, this list is subject to change, obviously. There might be a game I play within the next week that I'm like, oh, I should have put it on here. But this is how it is for now, 2024, December 16th. This is when I'm gonna get this uploaded. Just because I'm just finishing it today. I've been busy with work and, you know, working out and hanging out with friends. So, you know, a lot of video stuff is going to slow down because, you know, real life stuff is happening. And I do genuinely love to make content like on this channel just for myself mainly. Like I like making videos, and I also know that like a lot of my friends watch these videos, which it's like, you know, make it and be like, hey, look at this, because I like doing that. And they like watching it. Like, it genuinely makes me so happy that like I can send videos to people and then they respond and they're like, yeah, I watched your video, like XYZ, like I really liked it. Like I had a lot of people do that with my Bloodborne one, and it genuinely, I know I keep saying genuinely, but it literally, it made my fucking week, months. Like it made me so happy just like to receive comments and be like, yeah, your video was good, your editing was good, XYZ, like, you know, that shit. It's awesome to hear. And obviously, like, you know, other people will find these videos, right? Other people who subscribe to me. It's not like all of the people who follow me are my friends that I know in real life, but for those who stuck around to listen to me talk like this, thank you so much. I don't know what my next video is going to be. I haven't been able to play as much with any of my friends, so, you know, we haven't been able to get much content out. But I have been enjoying Marvel Rivals. I've been playing that. I might make something video stuff with that, because I'm throwing up, you know, different videos, obviously, up here. But yeah, like, I just, like, enjoyed making this video, and thank you again for watching all the way through. I know I rambled and it went all over the place, but yeah, so that's the end of the video. I have no idea what else I'm going to be making or when it's going to be out, because I don't have anything like lined up, and obviously I don't do this like as a full-time thing, so my focus towards it is like halved like by now. But I'm still very dedicated and very eager to make more content. So with that, I will leave.